What in the freaking world? Holy smokes. Clemson goes down for their second loss of the season. Georgia Tech has himself a football team with Brett Key, man. What a game to start week 3 of the college football season. Georgia Tech with a Mayday running on the field, last second field goal to give Clemson their second loss of the football game. Welcome to the Mac and Murray College Football Show. This is an instant reaction as we break down the game right away, what our initial thoughts are. We'll give our full reaction with myself and Eric, who is obviously a Clemson All-American, get his reaction tomorrow after the devastating loss to his Tigers. That'll be the full weekend recap show. But this is our instant reaction. Appreciate you joining, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We got lots of content on our social media and here on YouTube. All right. Georgia Tech, man, came out swinging early in this football game. They looked like the dominant team in the first half, the more physical team, flying around. Buster Faulkner and that offense with Haynes King just seemed like it was too much for Clemson. I mean, they were up 13-0 at one point in the first half. Kind of felt like they were running away with the football game. Clemson had no answers defensively, and obviously the offense was struggling to really create any sort of explosive play on that side. So let's start with Georgia Tech first, what we liked, and then we'll get to the Clemson side from there. What do we like? We love Haynes King. First possession of the game, they're moving the ball down the field. He's throwing the football. He looks healthy. Obviously, big fourth down stop for Clemson there on the goal line, but you kind of saw an offense that moved the ball right down the field in about 5-6 minute possession. Like, man, they got their good stuff today. Haynes King especially looked healthy, taking last week off. Really impressed with his throws early on in this football game. So, man, shout out to him, those receivers, and then obviously the offensive line. Brent Key being a former offensive lineman there at Georgia Tech, that unit is going to continue to get better and better and take on the identity of their head coach. And I can't say enough good things about Buster Faulkner and what he's done with this offense. Really love turning on the tape each and every week to see how creative he gets, obviously using Haynes King, using the running game, all the variety of ways to create leverage on that offense. Haynes King, a lot of people are saying, well, you don't want to see your quarterback get hit that much. I get it. Can he survive the season? That's going to be the big question. Obviously, he took the week off last week. So it's going to be interesting to see how many games he takes off when you look at their schedule and if he is going to be that warrior week in and week out. But he's just too good with the ball in his hands, running it, and then obviously the improvement throwing the football where ice bath, my friend, ice bath and massages. And you got to find a way to get on that football field because you're too good in this offense. All right, so that's a little bit about just initial thoughts on Georgia Tech early on that football game. Like I said, really dominated. It kind of changed momentum there for a little bit when Clemson had a 3rd and 22, and this was about midway towards the end of the third or second quarter, and they popped off the big run to get the first down. That was somewhat of a game-changing play right there because you punt the ball to Georgia Tech. They have an opportunity to get even more points before halftime. Instead, you get the big first down, you move it down the field, you score a touchdown, and you're like, okay, now it's 13-7. And Clemson gets the ball to start the second half. Like, you start to think, like, okay, could the tide slowly be turning to Dabo Swinney in that offense? And you saw Cade Klubnik, one of our big needs, at least my big factor this week was Cade Klubnik needs to run the football. -3 yards rushing through the first 2 games of the season. He's too athletic. He's got to get going, and he's got to find a way to run the football because I just don't know how good this running game is. Like, Randall's a big running back, but he doesn't seem to me, besides the 1-1, on that 3rd and 22, to be that explosive of a running back. So Cade's got to have to be a little bit more of a factor, going to have to be almost like a Haynes King when it comes to running the football for this Clemson Tiger football team. And he did that today. 17 carries, 62 yards, 3.6 yards per carry, had the rushing touchdown as well. You saw more quarterback design runs, and I think that got him going in the football game a little bit, got his juices going in athletic quarterbacks. And a lot of quarterbacks, once you get involved in the running game, it helps the passing game. And it also helps the passing game because the defense is worried about the quarterback running as well. So his running, I thought, translated into some better passes that we've seen from him. One that comes off the top of my mind, I think it was a sail route, pressure in his face. He gets it up and over a linebacker, beautiful throws, but was probably his best game of the season. So it was good to see him go out there and do his thing. It's good to find some receivers on the outside. Obviously, his top guy is still injured. Bryant Wesco came out there, had 7 catches, 124 yards, had the nice one on the over route on the bootleg where he caught it, went 73 yards for a touchdown. So you kind of start to see some of the explosiveness of what this offense could be, and what we thought about for Clemson, because the talk the whole offseason was Cade's back, offensive line's back, receivers are 5 or 6 deep, but Antonio Williams has been hurt, like I alluded to. This was not it's a Klubnik and Antonio Williams. This is it's Klubnik and plus all these other receivers, and no one else has really stepped up to start the season. So finally, you had some explosiveness on the outside from Bryant Wesco, but 2 turnovers. You had the fumble, you had the interception on the RPO, which, I mean, credit to Georgia Tech. Like, that was, Haynes made the right read. Safety comes up, linebacker comes up in the red zone. You're about the 10-yard line. He pulls it back to throw that little skinny, thinking he can get it up and over those guys. And Amari Daniels just made a really good play, getting vertical, catching it. So that's points off the board right there for Clemson. But they still, with all of that, took the lead, got up to 14-3, and then it turns into, once again, going back to Georgia Tech, turns into Haynes King time. And you put the ball in his hands in crunch time. He drove him down the field, scored the touchdown, took the lead. Love the Philly special for the 2-point conversion, make it a 7-point game. Love it. Guess what? Hey, Klubnik, he's had himself a ball game too. We just talked about the confidence that he's gaining running the football, finally getting some playmakers on the outside to make some plays. He drives down the field. They score a touchdown. Bam. Love it. Both quarterbacks are dealing. Maybe we're going to overtime, but too much time for Haynes King and that offense. They move into field goal position, and the crazy, chaotic, for fans, it seems like it, but they practice that routine all the time, running on the field, plenty of time, kicker drains it. So the positives you take away from Clemson are the pass game got going. Klubnik looked better, but the run game's still not there fully without Klubnik getting going. I thought the defensive line was inconsistent once again. To look back and see that Georgia Tech, let me pull up the full stats, but for Georgia Tech's offensive line, I know there's a lot going on. So, I mean, you just can't rear back and go. But Georgia Tech to have 142 rushing, this is a defensive line that's supposed to be dominant. They're supposed to take over football games, and it just hasn't felt like they've been able to really do that yet. So I'm still down and disappointed by the way the offensive line has looked to start the season. Their inability to be physical, the way this defense line has been inability to really take over games. The things that we were promised and Clemson fans were promised: elite receiving play, explosive plays, dominant line of scrimmage play. And you have not seen that this season, and that's why Clemson's 1-2. And right now, fighting for their lives already through 3 games, that they don't look like a playoff team, and they don't look like a team that's going to be in Atlanta the way they're playing right now. Are they good enough to get this all cleaned up, and when they get Williams back, to continue to be more explosive? And was this the turning point for Clay Klubnik? Maybe. But all we can go is the fact that they're 1-2, and they've not looked good in 2 of the games this season, those 2 losses. And it is still a good schedule going forward, where the team that I had win the national championship doesn't even look like they're going to be going for an ACC championship, and definitely not for a playoff. And Georgia Tech 3-1, have a quarterback. It comes down to, can Cade Klubnik stay healthy this season? And if he can, I do think Georgia Tech, with that offense, the way they play defense, how physical they play on both sides of the line of scrimmage, this is a team that can contend in the ACC. And this is a team that then, if you obviously are fighting for an ACC championship, can be one of those 12 teams in the playoffs when it's all said and done. So Georgia Tech, you'll be inside the probably top 15 for us this year or this week. Clemson, not most likely, but will be out of the top 25. So can't wait to get our man Emacs reactions when we get him tomorrow to shoot our full recap show. But in the meantime, appreciate y'all joining me for this instant reaction. Make sure you like, subscribe. I'll be doing a couple more of these today, and then we'll do our full recap show coming out on Sunday afternoon. So you guys enjoy the games, enjoy your weekend, and keep it locked in for Mac and Murray College Football Show.